Welcome back to Property Play. Today I'm with Anita with Tridel, and we're going to do rapid fire questions. I'm going to ask her all things about Tridel development, pre-construction, cash flowing on condos. We're going to hear about tons and tons of value. Are you ready?
I am ready. Go for it, Elena.
Okay, what is your favorite building?
My favorite building, it has to be the Well. It is the Well. It is the Well. It's the Well.
As we're sitting in the Well.
As we're sitting in the Well, this is a destination. This is lifestyle. This is convenience. This is everything.
Okay, can you give me like your top 5 fun facts about the Well?
Live, work, play, eat, shop. This is the
Did
Well.
you go to 6?
I may have.
You're really used to doing this. Okay, if you didn't live in this area in the
Yes.
Well, where would you want to live?
Waterfront. Somewhere waterfront.
Yeah, so Aqualuna, Aquavella.
Aqualuna, Aquabella, actually also Harbor Walk. Not a lot of people talk about Harbor Walk. Harbor Walk, 177 acres of redevelopment.
Okay.
Think about it, waterfront. It's really a city within a city. That's what's happening there.
Okay.
Because you're close enough to the city, but yet away. So if you like serenity and quiet and a whole new city, brand new everything, that would be Lakeview Village.
Okay, why Tridel?
90 years.
Okay. If, yeah, I'm going to have to ask you that. What do you mean?
9 decades. This is, family orientation, integrity, safety, everything. Yeah.
What is one thing that Tridel does that sets themselves apart from the competitors?
Well, there's so many. I think history and experience goes a long way. We are the leading developers, of course. We know, I think probably in all of Canada. We take ownership to commit to sustainability. If there's new innovation, there's new technology, all of that comes to play with every building that we bring into the market.
Okay. If you were investing in a condo, what would you be looking for?
If I'm investing into a condo, what I'd be looking for, probably looking into a neighborhood that has a lot more to revitalize. Okay. So the future, I think about the future.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're looking for good investment opportunities.
Correct. Yeah.
Do you care if a unit cash flows or not?
I don't. I actually don't. In fact, don't be scared of negative cash flow. Speak to your accountant. And it is tax time, and let them fill you in why you should not be afraid of negative cash flow.
Just say the answer. You know the answer. Just say the answer. What can you do with negative cash flow?
But this is what I was just telling you. This is income tax. I'm giving you all the hints. It's income tax season. Negative cash flow is
Sometimes
not necessarily
it's a
a
good
negative
thing.
Sometimes it's a good thing. It actually, yes.
She's like, I'm not an accountant. I'm not getting sued. Sometimes, yes. If you have negative cash flow, it's not a bad thing, especially if you're in a certain income bracket.
Absolutely.
It actually helps you because you offset it against your income.
You do. And think about it. I mean, real estate investment, it's a long-term investment. We were talking about it a little bit earlier. Even myself, if I want to retire in 25 years from now, real estate is where I'm going to invest. And I know what those returns will be in the next decade or two.
Okay.
And negative cash flow is not going to be a problem.
Why don't we walk through that a little bit?
Yeah.
Like your thought process behind investing in real estate and why it takes you to where you want to go in the future.
Well, so I'm going to talk about it in 2 different ways. First of all, I have to secure the biggest and most active bank right now is Bank of Mom and Dad. I think we can agree on that. So the new generation, the Gen Zs, they really probably need some help with their first home ownership. So that's what we do as parents first, is when we're buying real estate investments, not necessarily it's not going to be likely for us. It could be for our kids. So that's number one. We're securing our kids for the future. That's why right now pre-construction is still a good investment to buy for the kids, to settle these guys. They could be making great incomes, but they may not be able to carry themselves, so they need mom, dad help. For yourself, I'm in my 40s. I know I said it. And so I'm thinking, if I want to retire, what would be the most secure investment for me that I can gain the most out of in the long term? And so the reality is real estate, it's tangible. It doesn't fluctuate like how we've seen, I want to say it like how we've seen the stocks. I'm not saying don't invest in stocks. It's good to have diversity in your investment portfolio. But the most stable, it still remains real estate historically. And I know that if I'm buying it now and I'm renting it out, even if I have to carry it on a negative cash flow, that works, it could work positive against your income. But in the long run, there's going to be enough equity paid where if I'm going to put 20% down payment, my 20% in 20 years from now, you do the math. How much equity you can build into, and I'm not even talking about the capital increase on that investment.
I think the best way to phrase it to people too when they're looking at long-term investing, I don't have a retirement plan. I'm a real estate agent. We don't have a pension. It doesn't happen.
That's right.
So my real estate is my retirement plan.
Yeah. But even with the pension, this will be subsidiary to your pension.
100%.
Comfortable living.
But what people, I think, fail to understand for the most part is if I'm buying a property today and maybe I'm kicking in some money, maybe I'm not, maybe it's positive from day one. Right. It could happen.
Yep.
I buy the property. In 25 to 30 years, the property is paid off. Whatever I was going to get in monthly payments from the tenant is now monthly going in my pocket.
Correct.
That's income.
That's right.
I am now projecting for in the future. So by the time we're 25, 30 years out and my properties are paid, how much money are those going to generate for me that I could retire on?
That's right.
And that's what people need to start thinking about, especially when you're younger, is how do you set yourself
The best is to set yourself, the earlier you can set yourself up for retirement, the more comfortable you'll be when you're ready and when you're there.
And I think the other thing that holds people back too from real estate is the media.
Right. When we're thinking about media, I think we really have to be careful. Reporters, of course, have to create articles. This is a part of their job. I love when I read an article that's actually factual and it provides you with real stats. But you could also read headlines and articles that do not have supporting backgrounds. So there is a fine line there.
Yeah, I think you need to be cautious when you're looking at what's out there and just do some of your own research on top of it, because the media is clickbait. Like headlines are designed for you to click on them. Stories are designed for you to read them. And it's not interesting if it's not something that's click-worthy. Like they have to put something in that's like the sky is falling, the real estate market crashed, no one's buying real estate. We talked about this before the camera started. You were talking about how much was just purchased within this development.
That's right.
And I was telling you about the transactions that just happened in the last couple of days. Like people are still buying real estate, but the media is not portraying the trends, like what is happening. Are people actually still buying? Is product still moving? Well-priced products in good locations, in good buildings, in good neighborhoods still sell if they're positioned properly. That's the key word, if they're positioned properly. And people have to remember that too. Like this isn't the market that you test. This isn't a market that you come on too high. There is competition in the market. But if your product stands out, your product still sells.
Absolutely. Location, location, location.
And this is why you love the Well. Okay, do you have a favorite coffee shop in the Well?
DeMello's.
Me too.
I know. They have the coffee to the signs.
I might be there every morning. If you ever watch, like between the hours of like, oh my God, this is how you get a stalker. Between the hours of like 7 to 8, me just walking to DeMello and grabbing a coffee and then walking back. Like I'm obsessed. Yeah. And my day starts off so much better after I have one of their coffees.
When you have a good coffee bean that you consume.
Yes. It makes the day better.
It does. No, I won't have coffee if it's not a good coffee.
Yeah, or I'll have another. I'm like, I didn't enjoy it. I need to have another coffee.
That too.
Okay, what are some other really cool pop-ups or stores that are in the Well that makes living here that much more amazing?
I don't want to stereotype this, but I think a lot of us who are in downtown may not necessarily have the time to cook. So having 70,000 square footage of food district actually plays a big part.
If you have not done the food hall in the Well, you should go.
Yes.
I went there yesterday for lunch. I'm a little too close. This is where all my money is going. It's real estate in the Well now. I only have two splurges. And Dan won't let me buy any more real estate. So I'm just at the Well now.
Yeah.
But the food court is amazing. And like the diversity, the amount of different types of things there. It's like, it's different.
Whether you like
I had a hot
kebabs or hamburgers or...
Okay, I had a hot dog with seaweed on it. I did not mean to order that. I think I accidentally ordered that. I would not recommend.
And how was that?
No, try something else. I thought I was just getting a regular hot dog, and then it came out and I was like, you know, when you're in a rush, I don't know if this happens to you too, but I was sitting there in a rush and I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, just this one. This one looked the most normal out of them. Clearly it wasn't. The hot dog came out. It had seaweed on it.
They're very creative with their, I know exactly what
you know which one I'm talking about too, right?
I do, yeah.
And I looked at it and I was like, I guess this is what I'm eating for lunch today.
That's it, yeah.
And I had it for lunch. But I was like, I should have went to the seafood place next door.
Yeah. Rosie Burger is really good.
Yes.
I love it. Yeah.
Again, walkable stuff.
There's so much. Baklavas, Mado.
How does Tridel pick where to build?
I think we look at a few very key features. For us, walking scores, transit accessibility, highway accessibility, having all of those amenities surrounding you. It's just the conveniences. That's what we focus on quite a bit. And so that's basically what it is. It's really understanding the area amenities and ensuring that those area amenities would fit with those who are looking to come into condominium as a lifestyle.
Also, Tridel just took over a development in the city. Can we talk about it? Are you allowed to talk about it?
I think it's one of the worst hidden secrets.
It's not a hidden secret.
It isn't.
No.
It isn't.
Okay.
It isn't.
Tridel just took over what?
Well, we are working towards.
Okay.
We're working towards managing the One Bloor West, and it's in the works. We're waiting for some official notification from the courts. So
it hasn't actually happened yet.
Stay tuned.
See the media.
Stay tuned.
Do you know how excited I got? The media just like blasted all over. Tridel is taking over. This is what's happening. And you're like, stay tuned. It's in the works.
It's in the works. We're working towards it. But we're definitely very, very excited.
I'm excited. And you're gonna give me one of those units. Just like, let me know what's left over.
We're talking about this in about a year off camera.
No problem. No problem. I'm ready. You don't understand. The moment I heard that, I was like, this is great. This is the best thing that could have happened there. No, it's true. So you heard it here
Another
first.
landmark.
It's not fully
Another
there
landmark.
yet, but it's almost here. And in a year, Anita's going to help me out there.
In the next little bit.
Okay. How does it work when you're looking to purchase pre-construction? How does the process work in buying it?
So are you talking about launch? Right from the date of launch.
Why don't we talk about for the consumer? Like the consumer walks into your office or comes with their agent. What's step one? Because a lot of people don't understand the process in which buying pre-construction happens.
Want to talk first a little bit about our realtor friends.
Okay.
Of course, we value and we work with our brokers and realtor friends. And we're here to build a long-term business relationship. Okay, I really want to emphasize on that. When we launch a project, we do a lot of preliminary work, myself and the team. It doesn't matter which project we're launching. The idea is to really provide our broker communities and give you the tools and provide you with full, in-depth product knowledge. That's very important because you really are the extension of our team. We are in the office. You're coming in. You're understanding the project. You're going to go take it out and present it to your client. We love when you come back with your client to our sales office and allow us to assist you and provide that same in-depth product knowledge to the clients. When the clients are coming in to decide on making a purchasing decision, this is, of course, very essential location. They need to really take a look at to see where is this place? What is the development all about? What kind of suite designs are catered within the same building? What are the amenities within the same building? What is the projected timeline that it's actually closing? So if they're looking at purchasing this as an investment, that's sort of a different kind of a purchase. If you're buying it for yourself to live in, that's a little bit more emotional. So now we have to really focus on floor plans and make sure that that floor plan has the right flow that fits your lifestyle. So there's a lot at the very preliminary stages. When you make the purchase as a pre-construction condominium, there is a long-term vision you must have. Of course, we have all the tools that we can provide you, the visuals, the renderings, and all the community information. But from the data of actually committing to that purchase, we have a really robust CRM system. We keep our homeowners engaged. We give you updates along the way. This really is a journey. It's a 2, 3, 4 year journey that we follow suit with you until the date of final closing. So I think it's really keeping engaged. That's what we do. Our team are fully equipped to provide you those services over those years. And of course, having your knowledgeable realtor goes a long way. You know, because again, we're in the office, we have set hours. And so I know that you really do guide your clients. You understand their priorities best. So when you come in, we love that collaboration with you. And so together we're facilitating and bringing forward what works to the best interest of that client.
Perfect. When it comes to actually, we've decided on a floor plan and a unit.
Yeah.
What happens next?
So when we're at a launch mode, it's the worksheet, right? And so this is why I have to emphasize, when you're bringing the client in, that's the best case scenario, because if they're looking for a 1-bedroom plus a den, as an example, we may have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 variations of the 1+ den design or the 2-bedroom design. So completing that worksheet, if we're going to put in only one suite design or going for what's the most popular suite design, it is not going to help us with allocation.
It also, and this is like, maybe it's different with Tridel, but from my experience with builders, bigger units, you have a higher chance of getting than the small units. The small units are a little bit more transient. And maybe it's different now because the market has shifted, but because there was that huge investment pool in first-time buyers that were also purchasing pre-construction, smaller units, you had a less likelihood of actually getting than if you put a larger unit in play.
It was a trend at one point, you're absolutely right. But if I can go back to our most recent launch, Harbor Walk at Lakeview Village, the first set of suites and the most amount of interest was our terrace suites. And those are the biggest suites within that building. And then the larger 2 bedrooms and then into the smaller 2 bedrooms. Of course, there's always going to be demand for the smaller suites just because of where the price bracket is. And that really helps our first-time home buyers, especially when we're settling our kids and, you know, looking into investment portfolios. But there is a little bit of a shift in that mindset and what we've seen, what we've experienced. Our recent launch of Harbor Walk, there seems to be a lot of demand for larger spaces now.
Okay. The reason why I also like when you, and this again, take a real estate agent with you into them, is we also know the layouts. Like we can read the layout floor plan. We've been in enough properties. Like the moment I go in, I'm like, here are the top 4 layouts. Now pick which ones you like, or here are the top 5. Like I've seen it. I'm like, these ones make the most amount of sense. It has the least amount of wasted square footage. So bringing in someone to actually, you know, take a look at everything and see what makes the most amount of sense, it helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Just it's almost like guiding them through this, you know, buying journey, just because you're right. They might be exposed to floor plans for an X time, but then that's what you do day in and day out. So it's nice to have that kind of support and assistance. Yeah.
Like I remember in the heat of the market, I would email my clients and be like, this side of the building will face the water. This side of the building will face another building. This side of the building will face this. Here are my top 3 favorite layouts in every price point. And I would send it out to them, and then they would come back with like, these are, okay, put it on the worksheet.
Yeah.
Like this is exactly what we want.
Yep, absolutely. And don't put just one unit design.
No, you put 3.
Minimum 3 options.
You minimum put 3, but there's usually on the sheet 3 spots. Like that's why I'm like, and place it in my mind 3. But the more options you give them, the higher likelihood that you'll actually get selected. But again, in this market, you have a higher chance of getting what you actually want. In this market, you have the ability to actually go check out product that's actually completed. Less competition, more incentives. Like, what are you seeing in terms of incentives right now? Can I ask you this? I'm asking you all the questions I shouldn't be asking. Winston's going to get mad.
We at Tridel, we don't really offer too much of incentives per se. And when we do, it really measures quite a bit, meaning when we do have incentives, it really depends on the building, the stage of construction. There's a lot of variances to that incentive. And we do know that our homeowners who understand Tridel, they understand quality. And so they know, when the building is built, if there's confidence in what that building will look like when it is completed. So in essence, we believe true value and true price.
Okay. I'm going to ask another controversial question because I know the answer to this, but has Tridel ever done a cancel relist on a list, like on a building?
Okay.
Like, have you ever canceled a project and then relaunched it? And this is 90 years. Like, in 90 years, it's inevitable. But there's some developers that have a reputation for canceling projects.
Not necessarily cancel and relaunch. We did have a project years ago. It was a very, very high-end building. We paused the launch and relaunched. That's because our principals wanted to make variety of changes within the architecture, the interior design, and really focused on suite design, so the floor plan. So there was a bit of a shift in the floor plate.
That's not a cancel.
It
That's
isn't,
a
but
pause.
it's a pause. That's what it is.
But there
It's a
are
pause.
other
It was not
developers.
a cancel and relaunch.
But you know this. You're
This
not allowed to
happens.
talk about it.
This
I'm allowed to
happens.
talk about it.
I know that it does happen. Yeah.
But it comes down to, too, like, reputation is everything in this industry. And when you're buying something on paper, the knowledge that it actually will get completed at one point and the likelihood that it will get completed versus the likelihood that it won't, that plays a strong role in a buyer's, view of, should I buy this or should I not? Mm-hmm. And there are developers in the city. There's developers in the GTA that, they've had a higher, we've launched a project, we've canceled the project, we've relaunched at a higher price. It happens.
But that's where your brand and build your reputation goes a long way.
I'm just lining you up for those amazing answers.
That was a good one.
I know. For a moment there, though, you were like, oh no, what is she about to ask me? Once again, it's Elena Saradidis. This was Rapid Fire with Anita. We did get sidetracked along the way, but I think there's a lot of good information in that. Once again, it's Elena Saradidis, Anita from Tridel. And if you like information like this or this podcast, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe.